we move on to one of the most significant moments of the day. It's my honor and pleasure to invite our chief guest, Dr. Tamizh Zachi, Tangarparyan, member of Lok Sabha, to deliver the keynote address. Sir, huge round of applause, and we very much look forward to the insights. Please. Thank you, ma'am. On the evolving education landscape across South India, we're truly humbled and we're deeply, deeply looking forward to it. Thank you, ma'am. Huge round of applause once more.
Distinguished members across the dais as well as the audience, respected educators, architects of policy, industry leaders, scholars, and most importantly, students who have gathered here a bit as well as watching through the digital media this wonderful summit. A very good morning and vanakkam. I thank the Times Network for convening this Education Summit 2026 South Edition, profusely for having allowed me to be here as your chief guest and delivering the keynote address. When I say I thank, I really mean it, because whenever I address any gathering related to education, being an academic as well as a creative writer, it gives immense satisfaction, pleasure, and pride. That way, this is a very important morning and a very, very wonderful occasion to be a part of this enclave. Also, I'm delighted to be present here this morning amidst eminent panelists from across the spectrum of stakeholders in education, secretaries in governments, policymakers, think tanks, and specialists, heads of private institutions, who will all, our course of the day, deliberate on the future of education in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, as I opened up my talk, I stand here as a member of the Parliament, but I'm also proud of my two important other identities. As a former professor of English, teaching in Queen Mary's College for 13 years, as well as in a few private institutions, and continuing my academic journey, giving some important endowment lectures and honorary lectures also, as well as exploring my journey in the arena of writers. So this morning is something which is very, very close to my heart. We are not merely gathered in a hall. We are gathered at a crossroads of human history where the ancient wisdom of our ancestors meets the glowing algorithms of tomorrow. I remember a wonderful poem. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I chose the one less traveled by, and that has made the difference. I believe all the stakeholders here, you have chosen a different path, as well as a meaningful path to educate the youth of this country, this nation, and to steer them through a path of enlightenment with the power of education. And this summit is very, very important and timely, because the focus of this summit is how are we going to have a proper roadmap of taking education with the wings of technology, with the technological aid. That way, addressing the future vision of the nation with the helps of technological innovations is a very important milestone. And I would congratulate the Times Now group for having taken up a very wonderful initiative like this. To be future ready is a phrase often tossed around in boardrooms, but for us in Tamil Nadu, it's a very, very sacred covenant based on social justice, equal opportunity for all. It forces us to look beyond the hardware and the software to ask the vital human question: Future ready for whom? Ready for what kind of economy, and crucially, guided by which values? I grew up in a small village down south near Virudhunagar district. And I'm very proud to state here that both my parents were teachers. Before my father ventured his journey into politics, he was a headmaster of a school, and my mother was an elementary school teacher. So I always carry this proud badge of identity of a daughter to a teacher parent and a teacher always. You know, a teacher and a doctor never retire in their profession. And you cannot value the actual worth of their professions in the currency notes. ஒரு மருத்துவருக்கும் ஒரு கல்வியாளருக்குமான ஊதியத்தை நீங்கள் வெறும் ரூபாய் நோட்டுகளால் தீர்மானிக்கவே முடியாது. எப்படி ஒரு புத்தகத்திற்குரிய விலையை நீங்கள் முழுமையாக கொடுக்க முடியாதோ, கொடுப்பதெல்லாம் அச்சுக்கூலிக்கும் காகிதத்திற்கும் உரிய விலையை மட்டும்தான். That is why I always respect and regard people who are very keen in working in the field of education, because we are the ones, I mean, even on par with the parents, you see your student excel far above than you, and you'll be proudly going, wishing them, and then hugging them. We are the ones who always feel so happy and proud to see your student excelling more than you in whichever field than you are. As a poet and a student of literature, I find that raw data, while essential, often lacks the breadth of life. To truly understand the power of education as a force that shatters the chains of the past, I'm reminded of the words of Tagore, which resonate today more than ever. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, into that heaven of freedom, my father let my country awake. And this summit totally concentrate on these wonderful lines of Tagore, and that's why I feel that this is a very, very important one at this juncture. This heaven of freedom, where knowledge is free and the mind is without fear, is exactly what we strive to build in Tamil Nadu. For us, Tamilians, especially the Tamilians who are now under the leadership of our Chief Minister, Thiru M.K. Stalin, education has never been a neutral technical sector. It has always been a radical act of emancipation. The Dravidian movement understood a century ago that social hierarchies are sustained not just by wealth, but by the strategic gatekeeping of knowledge. From the Justice Party's foundational struggle for representation to Thandai Periyar's fire of rationalism, and from Peraringer Anna's expansion of access to Kalaignar Karunanidhi, Dr. Muthamil Aringer's historic removal of structural barriers like entrance examination, the message was clear. Education must be the ultimate instrument of dignity, and it should be accessible by all, irrespective of their class, creed, culture, and identities. This ideological foundation explains why we invested in public institutions while others lean towards privatization. I have huge respect for private players and the panelists and the institutional heads. I mean, their help in steering up education is immense. So I certainly acknowledge that Tamil Nadu has taken up initiatives of developing government schools and colleges with the main motive and impetus that it should be accessible to the one who's sitting in the remote corner in one such village. And me, for example, I have climbed up to all these steps with a PhD in English, with an academic career, with a parliamentary career, just because education was given to me, a girl who had probably educated parents as teachers or whatever it is, but still education was accessible to one small village girl sitting in one corner of Tamil Nadu, and that is the basic USP of the Tamil Nadu government. Tamil Nadu today boasts a gross enrollment ratio of over 51% in higher education, first of its kind amidst all the states, a staggering achievement when measured against the national average of 28%. The COVID-19 pandemic was a global storm that did more than disrupt our classrooms. It acted as a great revealer of our deepest fault lines. It showed us that when learning moves online, the lack of a device or a connection is not just an inconvenience, it is a structural exclusion. Post-pandemic, technology is no longer supplementary. That's a very, very important point I would like to underscore. It is foundational. And that is what the whole summit is now going to concentrate the whole day. But we also realized a crucial truth. Technology without public intervention deepens inequality. Markets respond to demand, but a democracy must respond to justice. So under the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, the Dravidian model government has made a clear and unapologetic choice. We have treated education as future infrastructure, backing this vision with a fiscal commitment of over 55,000 crore, nearly 15% of our annual budget. This includes a massive 46,767 crore for school education and 8,495 crore for higher education, which is the highest feat when compared to any of the state budgets. We have wired 28,000 schools with high-speed internet and transformed thousands of classrooms into smart hubs of innovation, ensuring the silicon ceiling is shattered for the child in the furthest village. As a member of Parliament representing South Chennai constituency, I have 7 panchayats in my constituency, of which most of the panchayat schools are made as smart board classroom available schools. That's very, very, very important. As a member of the Parliament, my MP lads, I have used the maximum to equip those panchayat schools, as well as also here in the other schools. But my concentration or onus was mostly the rural areas are provided with the smart board classrooms. A commitment to breaking narrow domestic walls is most visible in our flagship schemes that target the roots of exclusion. Through our Chief Minister's Pudumai Pen scheme, we ensured that our daughters receive a monthly support of 1,000 rupees to pursue higher education. If they are studying in a government school and if they've scored good marks in their +2, if they want to go for higher education, the state government sponsors every month 1,000 rupees to encourage and to meet out with their expenses. The same way they have for boys also, which is called as, this is called as Pudumai Pen, that is called as Tamil Pudalvan. And because the Dravidian model is built on the principle of leaving no one behind, we launched the Tamil Pudalvan schemes also. By distributing 20 lakh laptops, you must have all watched in this media some 3 or 4 days ago, our Chief Minister, Ulagam Ungal Kayil, the world is now in your hands. In that, with that tagline, he has distributed 20 lakh laptops to almost all the students in a recent ceremony. Through that, we have ensured that access to digital learning platforms and research databases is no longer a privilege of the elite. Our Non-Mudalvan initiative, which is a very, very wonderful step in the field of education, has already empowered over 42 lakh students with structured training in AI, data science, fintech and electric mobility. We are not just preparing them for jobs. That's very important. We are preparing them to lead global industries with confidence and dignity. Confidence aided by technological devices and dignity given by the platform of giving equal opportunities for all. To see these numbers in human form, I would just like to cite one example of Sujata Kupusamy, the daughter of a daily wage earner from a fishing village near Chennai. Her parents survive on daily wages, and in any other era, her education would have been a fragile, distant dream. But through the Pudumai Pen scholarship, which our government, our Chief Minister has inaugurated, the digital mentorship of Non-Mudalvan, she broke through the barriers of her birth. In 2024, Sujata was selected for a state-supported program and trained in data science at Durham University in the United Kingdom. Imagine the wings which technology as well as the social justice provided by this government has given this little girl to break the barriers, and then to reach beyond the horizons. Sujata's journey is not a story of individual luck. It's a story of institutional will. When the state provides the wings, our children will touch the stars. So, states like Tamil Nadu especially, why do we emphasize a lot on education, in health, in women empowerment? The main focuses on all these three areas. Why we are focusing on that? Because only then we can shape up a citizen, a youngster, who can face this world with dignity, with confidence, and not only with these two virtues, but dreams. That's very, very important. To have dreams, to aspire more, to break the barriers, to explore all the unexplored areas, to trod on the paths wherein even angels and devils fear to trod. To have the dreams is a very, very important objective. That is why I say that data and figures are not very important, but are not very, very important when compared to any human story which I cited now. States like ours, Tamil Nadu, we always resist linguistic imposition or ideological homogenization, especially in the field of education, because our state believes social justice and equal importance and opportunity for all is the vital life nerve line on which the government pitches all its schemes and reforms, because it believes not in obedience and conformity, but in critical thinking, because it believes that a classroom must be a window to the world, allowing the students to fly with the wings of technology with the help of tools like AI, but firmly rooted in ethical values, discipline, and a vision coupled with lovely, beautiful dreams. The future of education will undoubtedly be shaped by artificial intelligence and automation, but technology alone does not guarantee progress. That is why we have panelists to just, give the pulse of the human core values, which is the center of all these capsules which are helping you to soar higher. Why we need panelists or educationalists or policymakers? Because we shouldn't miss that sort of a human touch, that sort of a central core of human values. Without the soul of social justice, technology will simply reproduce old inequalities in more sophisticated forms. Tamil Nadu's experience proves that when technology is treated as public infrastructure and governance is guided by equity, transformation becomes possible at scale. By investing in everything from nutrition and gender-based stipends like Tamil Pudalvan to high-end coding and global exposure, this Dravidian model government, which is headed by Chief Minister Thalapathy M.K. Stalin, is not just responding to future, it is authorizing it. We are owning it. We are accountable for that. We are taking responsibility to it. Let's build classrooms where the technology is cutting edge, but the empathy is foundational. ஒரு அருமையான கவிதை இருக்கும். ஒரு வகுப்பறையில் இருக்கிற மாணவர், ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட், அந்த ஆசிரியர் அவருடைய அந்த திறமை, கிரியேட்டிவ் இமேஜினேஷனை கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா கட் பண்ணி ப்ரூன் பண்ணி வெறும் படிப்பை மட்டும் சொல்லி கொடுக்கணும்னு நினைச்சா அந்த மாணவர் பின்வருமாறு கவிதை எழுதுவாராம். வேலிக்கு வெளியே தலையை நீட்டியதால் கிளைகளை வெட்டிய என் தோட்டக்காரனை மண்ணுக்குள் நழுவும் வேர்களை என்ன செய்வதாக உத்தேசம். If you are just going to prune all the branches which are just you're seeing outside in the name of just growth, what are you going to do with the roots which are just going deep down in the soil, which is my imagination, which is my goal. I think we have to understand that. And as we deliberate today in this enclave, let's remember that the future of education lies not just in speed of processor, but in the reach of the justice it delivers. And that's the Tamil Nadu way, that's the Dravidian model way, that is the Chief Minister's way. And I would like to just wind up my talk with a lovely poem, a Russian poem, which I would roughly translate from Tamil to English. அந்த ரஷ்ய கவிதை இப்படி செல்லும். இந்த கை ஒரு நெம்புகோலை அழுத்தும் பொழுது வலிமை கொள்ளும். இந்த கை ஒரு குழந்தையை அணைக்கும் பொழுது அன்பு கொள்ளும். இந்த கை ஒரு பிச்சைக்காரரை விரட்டும் பொழுது நாணம் கொள்ளும். இந்த கை ஒரு ஆப்பிளை எவ்வளவு அற்புதமாக ஏந்துகின்றது. உள்ளங்கையில் நீர் ஊற்றி பாருங்கள், உலகையே தலைகீழாக பார்க்கலாம். ஆகவே இந்த கைகளை கரைபடியாமல் வைத்திருங்கள். Roughly you can translate, see, this hand is so powerful enough to move even mountains. How softly it hugs a child with immense love, and how it's filled with shame when it chides away a stranger or a beggar. Look at the way how beautifully it holds an apple. Just pour a little bit of water on your palm, you can see the whole reflection of the world in your hand. That's the immense power of these hands. So please keep it without stains. This is the problem of translation, I think. Karaipadiyada karangal means you are not influenced by any other corruptions or whatever it is. Roughly I can translate it as stain, which is not the equivalent. So that sort of the hands, very few people are blessed with that. The students, the people who impart educations, and people who work towards building up such future, you are blessed with those sorts of wonderful hands. அந்த கரைபடியாத கரங்களுக்கு சொந்தக்காரர்களான உங்களை வாழ்த்துகின்றேன். I wish the summit all the success, and I congratulate and look forward to hearing to the participation of all the panel members. Thank you very much.